Today is Good Friday. It's the Friday of Holy Week, that last week leading up to Jesus' death and resurrection. So what happens on that Good Friday? Well, Jesus is tried by the religious elites as a heretic. He's tried by the Roman Empire as a revolutionary. And despite the lack of evidence against him, he is found guilty, even with the crowds of people shouting, "Crucify him, crucify him, crucify him." He is insulted, he is mocked, he is spat on, he is beaten. They take a crown of thorns and they place it on his head. He carries a heavy cross to the place of his execution. And then Jesus is crucified with nails in his hands, nails in his feet. This way of death that was incredibly painful, humiliating, excruciatingly grotesque, usually reserved for slaves, for pirates, for enemies of the state, the worst of the worst. While Jesus is crucified, there are two others crucified with him, one on either side. One will call out and mock him with the people. The other will say, "Jesus, remember me when you come in your kingdom." And Jesus says, "Tonight you will be with me in paradise, friend." Jesus prays aloud for those who are killing him. He says, "Father, forgive them. They do not know what they're doing." After around 3 hours, Jesus cries out, "It is finished," and he takes his last breath. Jesus is dead. Darkness falls over the land. There is an earthquake. The curtain at the temple that used to keep people out of the holiest place, away from the presence of God, is suddenly torn in two from top to bottom. A Roman soldier, observing all of these things, says, "Surely he was the Son of God." Jesus' body is taken down from the cross and hastily placed in a tomb before sundown. Jesus, the Messiah and King, is completely and utterly defeated. The promise of Jesus' ministry, the promise that the kingdom of God has come to earth to liberate and to heal and renew all of creation, the promise of redemption and new life, has been crushed. Crushed by the violent power of the Roman Empire. Crushed by the wealthy religious elites and man-made rules. Crushed by what seems like the power of sin and darkness and death. Following Jesus' way of the cross means loving our enemies in such a way that we willingly give up our lives for them, that we forgive those who don't deserve it, that we are even kind to those who are unkind. Following Jesus' way of the cross means continuing to trust and believe that God can bring victory and life to those places where we only see failure and death.